everybody, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am here with my first layout and first process video using my April for the Love of Homemade kits. And so if you want to go back and check out the kit reveal to see everything that is in this kit, I went with really bright, kind of crazy fun colors this time. And so I'm going to use that Bella Boulevard paper that has the stamped phrases on it. Kind of combined with some black cardstock and then this Bow Bunny diagonal rainbow colored stripe paper. So all I'm going to start out with here is kind of building the foundation for my layout. So I know I want the rainbow stripe to be the back layer, and I want there to be a tiny little bit of black cardstock that shows around the edge. I was going to use my trimmer, but then I have kind of decided against it. And I'm just going to cut out basically the center. So I just want the rainbow stripe to show on the top and the left edge. But I know that I want to save this rainbow stripe to be used later. So I'm going to go ahead and put my black cardstock kind of on top of that little scrap of rainbow paper that I cut out to go around the edge. And then my white is actually going to be like my top layer of the background, the one that has all of these cool stamped phrases on it. And so I want just a little bit of that black cardstock to show around where that white edge is. And I'm going to run that completely to the, all the way to the edge on the right and the bottom. So I'm only going to have that rainbow detail in the black on the other side, or on the top and the left. And it's just a little something different. But I couldn't decide which of these two photos I liked better. So I cut them both to 4x4, and I kept going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth because I really like them both. But I decided to go with this one on a slant, and it's just a goofy picture of Ty. And he has these huge green sunglasses on, and just thought he was so hilarious. And so I'm going to take that 4x4. And I will probably use the other 4x4 photo in his traveler's notebook, just to talk about his personality. So it's not going to go to waste. I'm going to just create a bunch of layers behind my photo. And I want them to kind of be wonky. So I start out making them a little bit thin and straight on. And then as I go and add more layers, I make them a little bit more wonky. So the white one's going to be this white polka dot one, was from the 6x6 paper pack that I had in my stash kit. And then I'm just using up a bunch of the scraps. So I've got the royal blue, and now I have this Paige Evans Horizon lime green, and all of those are just kind of wonky. And then I think about putting this yellow in the back, but decide that I'm not going to include the yellow. And so I feel like I'm ready to go ahead and start the embellishing part. I know that I want to create a little ledge underneath my photo for the photo to sit on, but I'm just going to kind of see what kind of embellishments I'm pulling out first to kind of see how the design's going to go. So I really didn't have a huge plan in my head about how this was all going to look. So at this point, I'm just kind of playing around with the embellishments I have. So these are the basic gray tags and journal spots and things that was in one of the packs of embellishments that I pulled out for the stash kit. So I'm going through there kind of pulling out pieces that I feel like I am going to want to use on this particular layout. And then I'm going to switch over to the Jelly Bean Soup pack to see what other kinds of embellishments I can find. I'm playing around with that It's Summer little banner, but it's not going to end up making the cut. I am going to use this journaling spot, and so off camera when I'm finished, I am going to come back and add some journaling to the top of that. So you'll see a space left over that looks like white space, but that's because that's kind of my plan for where my journaling is going to go. So now I'm just adding some more of these little fun icons in here. I think about getting the rainbow, but that also doesn't make the cut. But this little pineapple with the sunglasses absolutely is going to make the cut because it's yellow like his t-shirt. It's got the sunglasses just like Ty, so that one's definitely going to be on there. And I'm going to use that bigger word that says cool as part of my title. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and build up that shelf. So I have some washi tape. I have these strips of washi from Ellie's Studio. And so I started with the most bold geometric in the back, and if you're going to make a little shelf like that, that's that's kind of how I would recommend you start, is with whatever is your most bold, or like the one that's going to stand out the most, I guess, in the back, and then layer on top of it. So I've layered some stripes and some yellow polka dots on top of it, and then that's where my photo is going to end up sitting. And then I'm going to add just a few little strips of washi at the top of my clusters as well, just to kind of make that look a little bit more continuous. And so you'll see where I kind of tuck those little pieces in with the photo as well. So unlike my usual process for starting my first layout, usually I limit my supplies because looking at my entire kit to begin with is a little bit too much. This time I didn't really do that with the embellishments. I kind of just grabbed a little bit of everything that I thought would match the colors. So it's a little bit different process for me than I usually go through, but I think it worked out okay because it was pretty like evident as the layout was like, as I kept working on it, what types of pieces and what types of colors I was looking for. So that's kind of the foundation of that very top cluster. I'm adding those little bits of washi tape up there to make that look continuous with what I have on the bottom. And then I'm going to go ahead and work on this other cluster. So I have this journal card. I'm going to cut it in half because I only need the lime green and blue side. And then I'm going to build a cluster over there that's going to go underneath my title. The title itself is going to start with that big word that says cool, and I am going to put some dimensional adhesive on it so that it stands up a little bit off of the page, and it's going to overlap that bottom edge of my photo as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and add all of these little embellishment pieces. So I've got this green heart, and I have this little orange, like, I don't know, flower star icon type of thing. Once I add that foam adhesive, I am going to move that word cool up just a little bit so that it does overlap my embellishments as well as my photo. And then I'm just going to go back to the other embellishments I have. So I had this one little epoxy flare left on this sheet that I put in my kit because I wanted to finish up this particular package. It is one of the goals from the Rediscover Your Stash Facebook group this month to finish up a bunch of leftovers, and this was one of my leftovers. So I'm going to get it into that top left cluster, and then I feel like I need a flare down in the bottom cluster as well. So I am going to go back to my stash and grab a different flare for down there. I had just a few of these puffy sticker hearts left from Vicky Boutin, and I also have the word that says, or the words that say simple things. And so I'm going to make those part of my title. So my title is going to end up saying cool, simple things. And I kind of like how all of that works. They nestle in really well underneath that word cool. And it's kind of a fun, different title. So I like how that turns out too. I'm adding just a few of these little Amy Tangerine puffy epoxy heart stickers. So there's going to be like a turquoise and an orange in each of my little clusters. And I felt like I needed another little pop of black in my clusters, so I'm kind of keeping that in mind. I don't have anything in my kit except some stars, and I really didn't want stars for this one. So I am going to go back to my stash, which is something that I totally give myself permission to do when I am working with the stash kit. And you can tell I still have, you know, washi tape on my arm, right? Because that's where it goes when I am trying to decide if I'm going to get those other extra little pieces in. I am going to add a couple of little yellow enamel dots to each of my clusters. And then when I go back to my stash, I just grab some black enamel dots and then some little tiny black puffy stickers that are in the shape of hearts. And I'm going to add those to all of my clusters as well. And then you can see where I grab another little epoxy flare. It's this one that's orange and blue and says Wild Child. And that is just perfect because, you know, that's tie to a T. So I'm going to tuck that one into my title, and that's going to kind of create that consistency between my two embellishment clusters. So I have one nestled in with the pineapple in the world hello, and then I have one nestled in with that kind of star flower orange deal and the word cool. So it really creates a strong diagonal element across my photo to make sure that that is where all of your attention in the layout goes. This isn't a super busy background, but the fact that I have all of my embellishments centered right around my photo makes it so that your eye really travels to where the photo is, which is of course what I want your eye to do. And so that's going to do it for this particular layout. I did go back off screen and add a little bit of journaling to that white space on the journaling spot. But that's going to do it. And I really love how this one turned out. It was super bright and fun, which was my goal with my April for the Love of Homemade Kits. And I'll be back to see you soon. Bye, everybody.